All right, so I've invited Brienne over to get her experience with her alligator. So in 2019, Brienne, well, I'll let you talk. So what happened in 2019, May, on your anniversary?
I was going to meet Laramie for lunch for our anniversary.
She was off to meet Laramie for lunch for her anniversary.
It was going to be our 2-year anniversary.
It was a 2-year anniversary.
And we were going to have lunch.
They were off to have lunch.
I went out to the truck. I was all dressed up, ready for lunch. Went out to the truck, and I was about to open the door, and I heard...
After she'd gotten herself dressed all up,
loud,
out to the truck, she
loud
heard a
hissing
loud
at me.
hissing noise.
I cannot tell a story with his
Just keep telling a story
in the bag.
So this morning I'm a little bit concerned because one of our jets is not pushing any water out. I've taken it off and I've tried to blow it out. And I don't know why there's no water pushing through this one here. So I'm not trying to give this thing a negative review, but there might be something that I'm not familiar with because that jet right there refuses to push out water. And I think it may have some kind of sediment clogged up in it. Annie and Ernie don't seem to mind. They're still enjoying the breeze. You can see Ernie's hair blowing around right there, so you know he's enjoying that. And I can still feel a vapor, a water mist coming off this thing, so it's gonna stay nice and cool here. We are about to experience a really hot day here in Texas, so I'm gonna head up over to Longhorn Lester's a lot earlier than I normally would. Everything's fine here. I did have a few jobs I wanted to work on. I'm still gonna take all these old posts down here first chance I get. Jake took down all of the boards along the top. I'm gonna get my tractor over and pull all the posts out of the ground. We can reuse those. Those are gonna be able to be reused. And then I'm gonna get all that fence and straighten it all back up the way it was supposed to be, the way it was before Tex and Carl begin to push around on it. That's a great pasture there, folks. I don't want to take the entire fence down and open it all up. I could very easily do that. A lot of folks actually suggested that. They says, now that you don't have Tex or Carl, why don't we just make this a part of our goat pasture and give the goats more grass, more shade, a different pasture to move them around to. But the problem here is I did not go to the ground when I built that fence. I went ahead and went about a foot off the ground, and goats will climb right under that. Goats would go right under that. I would have goats all over the place. I could come by, I guess, and put another piece of maybe a 1x6 corral board along the bottom of the whole thing. I do have quite a few 2x6s left over. I could outline the bottom. But it's a lot of work, and I don't think we're gonna do that because even though we may open up some more grass, we still don't have any brush and things they can forage on. So it'd be a lot of work and not a whole lot of return of that work or on that work. I want to show you all something funny. It's not here, it's right there. Trudy, you're all gray. How'd you turn gray? Baby. So there's this really funny filter that a lot of kids are using on Snapchat that will show you how you're going to look in 20 years. It'll add 20 years to your life. Oh, wrong filter. Sorry. Well, this is Lester as a baby. Wrong filter again. Well, I don't think this was the filter I was looking for either, but you know what? Let's just move on, shall we? Let's just move on, shall we? Baby, you look like a little old lady. Honk, honk. Sweetie, you're nasty. I think Trudy's just showing us how she's going to look 20 years from now. Baby, you're all gray. Honk, honk, sweet girl. How sweet. And how does Pig Newton feel about that? Does he still love you when you're old and gray, baby? Does he still love you when you're old and gray? Because I do. I love you even if you're old and gray, baby. What she used to be. Look at this. Look at this, y'all. Oh, baby. You need a water hose, love. At least she's staying hydrated, y'all. That's hydration. We've been doing a lot of researching. Okay, I say we. Let me just go ahead and clarify. Jamie has been doing a lot of researching, and we're trying to figure out what it's going to take on our part to keep everybody healthy, guys, because we're getting to some severe. Look, there's just no grass here. There's no grass here. And you can see that there's just nothing to eat. There's nothing to eat. So the problem is, I'm trying to say this in the right words. The problem is animals can't live on grains alone. As a matter of fact, they don't even want grains. They don't want grains. Too much grains can create a lot of stomach acid. And so what I've noticed over at Longhorn Lester's especially is that the cows will run up to eat, but I put out their feed and they just sniff on it, nibble on it, and they end up walking away and leaving a lot of the grains, and they're hungry. So Longhorn Lester's, we're gonna try something different starting tomorrow. Over here though, we have different animals. Now that's not something I thought I did not think I would see that right there. A pig eating green hay. So Jamie has talked about trying to find some kind of a feed that you have to soak in water. It's like beets. And we're going to start trying to find some bags of that, coming home, soaking it in water for an hour before you put it out. Trudy, don't lay in that. Trudy's actually eating green hay as well. Did not think I would see that. So I'm not trying to scare y'all. Sometimes it's really hard to talk because you've gotten so used to hearing Lester in, running around with his hair on fire, making, light of something, and just like you come off the page and you want to see that every video is something funny and jovial, and then all of a sudden when I have a real topic to discuss, something that's real, it turns you off to the page. And so that's the last thing that we want, is for you to abandon us when we need you the most. But these are desperate times, my friends. These are desperate times, and we're seeing our animals, and they're not at their best. None of them. There's not an animal here that's living its best life right now, and we're trying to figure out what to do. And it's scary. It is scary. So green hay is obviously something that these guys are eating, and eating well. So I'm happy to see that. We're going to try the watery beet pulp, I think that's what they call it, formula for the cows over at Longhorn Lester's. The goats are fine. The goats are the only animals. Now they're all over at Longhorn Lester's and they're fine. We're not worried about the goats. The ostriches, I think, are okay. They've always nibbled on grass, but their main source of food comes from the stuff that, the protein crumbles, the mealworms, the alfalfa pellets. So it's really what makes it hard right now is you're having to take each type of animal individually and break it down to what they need during this extreme heat and the drought, because there's just nothing growing naturally. Anyway, we're working on it. We are working on it. Guys, we are working on it. All right, so what you're looking at here is our new pond. It's not really new. It's the same way it was here this morning, but it has a different look to it now, which is what we wanted Paul to do. So he came by and dug all of the shallow spots out over here. He used that dirt to bring, and he built this up a couple of foot over here. You can tell all the dirt work that he's kind of leveled and smoothed everything out. He also made sure that he still left this spot over here. If we ever get any rain, and one day we will, but if we ever get enough rain to fill our pond to capacity, the overflow will come over to here and go into, we have 2 culverts there that go under our driveway and go into Kim's pond. And so all of our overflow should go that way instead of back this way the way it was. He took some other dirt and kind of spread it along over here. There's a little bit still mounded up. He wasn't able to spread out. He said it got real boggy. He said driving that tractor and that excavator over it, long enough, it got it pretty boggy. And so he's going to wait till tomorrow and come finish spreading all of that out. But this is the new pond look. And this looks a whole lot better, and it's going to hold a lot more water. And then when it does overflow, it's going to go the right direction, which is what we always wanted, not back onto our memorial garden, which is what was happening. So, guys, we need rain. You can see for yourselves how low the pond is. That's several feet. That is several feet low. So keep your fingers crossed we can get that rain eventually. And we're excited for the way the new pond looks. So thank you, Paul.